It's 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
New at 6, pressure mounting on St. Louis police to show the public their spy tools. Good evening. I'm Brent Solomon. Kelly Jackson and Ann Allred have the night off. The Board of Aldermen meeting this morning unveiling a new proposal to increase oversight of police surveillance technology. Political editor Mark Maxwell was at today's meeting. He joins us live from City Hall with much more. Mark.
Brent, good evening. You know, it wasn't all that long ago that some City Hall officials wanted to hire a third party to put spy planes over the skies of St. Louis to collect video images. All that died down after a few years, but it's still been years since the police department has let any press or any outside groups into that real-time crime center, which is sort of the central nervous system, rather, of all the technology and surveillance that police gather in the city. Board of Aldermen President Megan Green unveiled a number of new proposals Friday afternoon, including Board Bill 185.
Which is to provide oversight for surveillance technology that is used in the city.
In it, aldermen raise a number of questions for police.
How do you store data? How is this data being stored? How is this data being deleted if it's not needed?
That's Alderman Rasheen Aldridge, who served on the Ferguson Commission.
We're not trying to stop current technology. We're not trying to make it harder for law enforcement to tie their hands.
Police Sergeant Charlie Wall tells 5 on Your Side the use of technology to include surveillance cameras and real-time access to those cameras is vitally important to law enforcement operations, especially at a time when we're seeing staffing shortages in departments across the country, as well as here locally.
Yes, we're down law enforcement, so maybe these cameras can be extra eyes where police can't step in, and I'm not against that. But one, it's about making sure that's what the community wants.
Aldridge says City Hall has a duty to evaluate the spy tools police use for themselves.
We've seen how this technology has been used in a wrong way, and how it's been used to follow and track people to harm them when they are innocent and there is no crimes or anything on them.
While police and prosecutors can often use HD video to build evidence and close cases,
we can't have cameras on every single block if people on those blocks don't want them.
Aldridge argues the public would buy into a system like that if they just knew more about it.
There's a lot of distrust when it comes to certain communities and law enforcement. Yes, we want to make sure our streets are safe, but we also don't want to over-police our communities.
After all, technology is evolving at warp speed.
We do know with AI and technology and the way that it's advancing, it's getting out of control.
We've heard some recent indication from top brass at the police department that perhaps in the days ahead they may allow some press inside that real-time crime center, but even then may restrict any cameras or recording devices to show the public what we see. Other cities have allowed us inside with cameras in recent days. For now, live downtown, Mark Maxwell, 5 on Your Side.
Mark, thanks. St. Louis University Hospital nurses have voted to authorize a strike. The union representing nurses at the SSM Health Hospital says the outsourcing of RN positions is a main focus. SSM Health responded to the authorization by saying they are, quote, disappointed with it. The nurses union says they will give a 10-day notice to the hospital if they do call for a strike. Right now, a renewed effort from anti-abortion activists in Missouri. Some lawmakers have introduced legislation that would allow homicide charges against women who have abortions. Republicans in both the House and Senate introduced bills that they say are on behalf of the unborn. The legislation has exceptions if the woman aborts after being coerced or threatened, or if the woman's life is in danger. Tonight in a 5 on Your Side update, a St. Louis pastor voicing his frustration. He says his church was hit by a speeding car, and it's happened before. It's been months now, and the pastor says he's having a tough time getting any help from the city. Our Mercedes McKay shows us how it's starting to affect the ministry.
This is a safety issue. This is an ongoing safety issue.
At first glance of Greater St. Luke Baptist Church, it's hard to miss the holes in the building and the exposed wires on the street.
It just seems to be this community has been hit multiple times with excuses of why we can improve this community and make sure that at least it's safe.
5 on Your Side first met Pastor Anthony Robinson back in September when he came to work one Sunday morning and found his church had been hit by a reckless driver. And it wasn't the first time.
This street has been notorious as a racetrack. Speeders coming up and down Broadway doing 80, 90, even 100 miles an hour, the daytime and at night.
Since then, Robinson has spent the past 3 months calling the city, asking for them to replace the lights speeding drivers have ruined, but he's gotten nowhere.
We're getting no results. We're getting the same action, just a different day.
Pastor Robinson tells me his lights aren't the only ones on North Broadway that have been hit and knocked down. This light beside me, it was hit back in 2021. And he says it's not only a safety hazard for his congregation, but the community as well.
Our concern is that this will continue to happen if they can't see the property here on Broadway.
Because it gets dark out so early and he's worried about the people who come to his sanctuary to worship. Pastor Robinson has even moved some church activities around.
So we've limited our services during the weekend. We go on to Zoom just to make sure our congregation stays safe.
At the end of the day, Pastor Robinson just wants his voice heard and some light shed on this issue.
I know we have difficulties in all of our St. Louis communities, but at least we know we can be safe in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
And Mercedes reached out to Robinson's alderperson but hasn't heard back yet. A man is in custody in St. Clair County after a home invasion turned violent. Tyrone Smith is facing several charges, accused of sexually assaulting a 60-year-old woman in Belleville. He's accused of breaking into her home Tuesday and then beating, raping, and robbing that woman before taking off in her car. He was arrested in Springfield before being taken back to St. Clair County. Investigators say this attack was random. As Israel continues its war with Hamas, people with ties to that area are feeling the impact. A Hazelwood restaurant owner spent 3 weeks in the West Bank to check in on his family. 5 Insights' Justina Cornell sat down with that businessman today. Justina, what is he telling you?
Well, Brent, Wissam Hamed tells me he wanted to go back home to be with his 4 children who still live there. He said everything at home has changed. Cooking feels like home for Wissam Hamed.
I've been cooking all my life, actually. I grew up cooking.
The restaurant owner came to the U.S. more than 20 years ago for change. He brought Middle Eastern food to North St. Louis County with the restaurant Kazlik Mediterranean Cuisine.
We've been here 10 years.
The cuisine brings comfort in a time of chaos.
It is disappointed. It's very emotional.
The Israel-Hamas war has altered so many lives, including theirs.
Everything has changed. Business changed all over the world. Business changed. Change in America. Change everywhere in the Middle East.
Hamed recently visited his home in the West Bank.
There's not many transportation, but I went to Jordan and then to Jerusalem, to my hometown is Betin. And more or less, honestly, I stick around there. There's not much places you could go to. There's not many places is open. Everything is shut down.
His 3-week visit was for family.
I have kids there and my nieces, my family's there. I have 22, 19, 16, and 13. 2 boys, 2 girls.
While spending time with loved ones, he also had glimpses of war.
Nobody doing good, honestly. It's bad. It's a war zone. It's a big jail. Everybody can stay where he at. There's not much transportation, nowhere. You really, don't see much.
His livelihood brought him back to the United States, but his heart remains overseas as he cooks with a constant reminder of home. Hamed said they spent a lot of time together indoors, nervous to go outside. He tells me he may return soon.